on 8-24.
When I looked up there and seen 24-8, I was like, okay, he's here in the building.
LeBron with a long three, and that one's down for both coaches. And a turnaround is good for Anthony Davis. LeBron James, he'll take it all the way. LeBron James with the reverse.
Well, as LeBron takes a deep three.
Oh, my goodness.
I just like to say this to put a button on it.
Lakers have won 3 straight.
It's a beautiful, beautiful night for our franchise, and it's something that we probably will always remember.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you so much for being with us. We have a lot to unpack today, but we're going to start with the on-the-court fellas, and then we will also dive into the rest, as First Take always does. Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, I'm Molly Karen Rose. The Lakers taking a commanding 3-1 lead. It appears, Stephen A., that the Blazers are a bit banged up. It also appears that this series is a wrap. But with that being said, Mr. Smith, do you think we should be skeptical of these Lakers moving forward?
I still do. I still do believe that, because the reality of the situation is that somewhere along the line, they're going to run across a team that could actually play defense. And it's not going to be as easy for them to score as it has been over the last 2 or 3 games or so. LeBron James was absolutely sensational. We all know that. And props to the Los Angeles Lakers for stepping up and showing that Mamba mentality to honor the late, great Kobe Bryant, to show that killer instinct, to come out, put their foot on Portland's neck and never, ever lay off about it. No, that's a bad analogy on my part, recognizing George Floyd and what have you, but I apologize for that. But I want to just say that they went at Portland from Jump Street. They didn't take their foot off the gas. They jumped all over them. They didn't let up. And even though we can look to the greatness of LeBron James, the greatness of Anthony Davis, who's just turned Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside into meaningless bodies out on the basketball court. And for anybody that tries to come into the paint, by the way, him with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, the Lakers have just patrolled the interior and have neutralized Portland. I expected Portland's offense to be better despite the Lakers' defensive prowess, but major props to them, because Portland averaged like 126 points per game since they were in the bubble. Against the Lakers, they're averaging 102. That's a 24-point difference. The defense has been sensational. But having said all of that, my skepticism still involves the Lakers' ability to hit perimeter shots. Again, against Portland, you can do some things. Against other teams, might not be so easy. And so as the playoffs progress, I expect defense to intensify, people to get a little bit more up in you, and if not to be as easy for you to score as it has been against Portland. And that to me is what I'm still concerned about. The Lakers need perimeter shooting in order to win the championship. And a lot of times they've been there, but more than enough times that perimeter shooting hasn't been there for them. And that is my concern.
Yeah, I didn't think the Lakers were going to win the championship to begin the season. But you have to be confident about their chances now to at least be a good version of themselves. You know, the Clippers had the much tougher draw in the first round. I always thought with Dallas, we still don't know how that series ends up. But going into this series, I felt very confident that the Lakers would win and it would not go 7. And we'll see if it even goes 6 now. Maybe with a healthy Damian Lillard, Stephen A., I would say he wouldn't let him go out like that, losing 4 straight. He'd have some superhuman performance and maybe get it to a game 6. But I don't see that now for this team. And in terms of your concern for the Lakers, this is the thing about having LeBron James, especially if you have another top 5, 6 player on the same team with him. And remember, about a year ago, my prediction was that right around this time, maybe it was a year and a half ago, Anthony Davis would be overtaking LeBron James as the best player in basketball. I don't think LeBron is the best player in basketball. I think that's Kawhi. I'm not sure that AD is overtaking LeBron at this moment, but it's kind of neck and neck. AD is such a force, both ends of the floor. And when you have LeBron and a guy like that in his prime on the same team, then all the extra contributions from your role players, the feeling you get watching the game is, if KCP or J.R. Smith or even Danny Green, who I think of as a more solid contributor for more years than those guys, like you could rely on him to be part of a championship starting caliber kind of rotation or starting 5. But if any of those guys hit shots, you throw up your hands. You go, okay, well, you're not going to beat LeBron and another MVP candidate if these guys are hitting shots. What are you going to do? And usually, Stephen A., these things regress to the mean, meaning if a guy like Danny Green gets cold, he's going to come back to himself. Same thing with a guy like KCP. KCP is a career more or less 35% three-point shooter, shooting about 5 threes a game. Danny Green is a 40% three-point shooter in his career. J.R. Smith can hit the three, as we know. So when you look at that, Kyle Kuzma's got to be the third best scorer on the team? Sure, because he can do more things than just shoot. But the other guys, they just start hitting threes as they normally do. And the Blazers and teams on that level who don't play defense will not be enough for the Lakers. I think until the Lakers run into a Clippers or maybe a Mavericks team, let's see who wins that series, but a team that's deep with a lot of talent and capable of playing defense, at least in spots, the Mavericks in the front court, the Clippers, period, I think they're going to be fine. And by the way, I just want to say, it was 8/24, right? That's Kobe Bryant Day. They don't play basketball in the summer normally, not the NBA. Will the Lakers ever have another chance to show what they can do, to honor Kobe in the way they did last night? And I have to say, as a Lakers fan, I was proud of the team for showing up like that on Kobe Bryant Day when they may never get another chance in a game that counts. And this game really counted. 2-2 or 3-1 is all the difference. So I think that needs to be mentioned.
Well, it does need to be mentioned, and they deserve major props for stepping up and answering the call in that regard. But knowing Kobe the way that I did, I definitely expect that they're going to have another chance to honor him even more, because as much as he may have appreciated yesterday, he'll appreciate it even more if they win the chip. No question about that, because that's what he was about.
For sure, but Stephen A., I mean, it's 8/24. They're probably never going to play another game on 8/24 again that counts. And this game counted, and it counted a lot. So it was a great tribute, I thought.
Yeah, great tribute to him on his birthday. But I'm telling you, that championship would mean a lot more from heaven coming from him.
No
For
question.
sure. And LeBron James, LeBron James even mentioned as much after the game. No, LeBron James seemed to be very aware of it, seemed to be aware that the score was 24-8 Lakers at a certain point. It seemed meaningful to him because in a kind of larger emotional way, the torch got passed from Kobe to LeBron. And you could argue guys like Duncan and Shaq, of course, but in terms of the wingman that everyone identifies with, that's the face of the NBA, that's the best player, that the guy you want with the ball in his hands at the end of the game, it went from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James, and LeBron seems to be very aware of that, particularly now playing for the Lakers.
No question, and he made that clear. And I think he has heavy heart, Max, for more than one reason. And yet again, he showed us his resiliency, and that's where I want to go next. So let's take a quick break here, guys. So after the Lakers' big win last night, LeBron said he can't even enjoy the victory. LeBron himself will tell you why when First Take continues. Stay here.
A lot of people kind of use this analogy talking about Black Lives Matter as a movement. It's not a movement. When you black, it's not a movement. It's a lifestyle.
Everyone talks about it. It's all good and well, but at some point there has to be action. There has to be action, and it can't just be, I would hope this, I would hope this. You gotta make it happen.
If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up, cause they never had a right to be. Stand up, cause they don't see themselves in cages. Stand up, if you wanna see some help and change. Stand up.
Is my life only valuable if I run fast, jump high, grow far?
I'm not gonna shut up and draw.
We will be a voice for the voiceless.
It's not a reverse blue dance. It's not a reverse you dance.
Say her
It's live versus truth dance. Say look into my eyes, what do you see?
Say her name.
If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Stay away from the clowns and the negative energy. Got my feet to the ground, ain't no way to pretend to be. Got my fist to the cloud, I'ma make them remember me. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.